All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is May 28th, 2019. This is a Tuesday night webinar. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, Forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems, should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? All right, if not, we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, not as many in the webinar tonight. I can understand that. We will record it, obviously. It's being recorded right now. So without further ado, we'll get started. The title of tonight's webinar is Draw Those Boxes and Trend Lines. Okay. And, that's probably a little bit repetitive, obviously, because, some people have seen that so many times. And that's understandable, but we've always got new people that come in on trials and different things like that. Okay. So I'll ask the team real quick, what would you do in a situation like this right here? What would be your first go-to method to trade this particular situation right here? Anybody? Okay, coming in with box it in, trend line. Okay, let's draw a trend line. Let's just see what it looks like on a trend line. That's what I see on a trend line so far, is about like that. And on a box, I see basically that right there. Okay, so that's pretty much what we see. So if you saw a situation like that, then wouldn't the obvious thing be to go ahead and box it in and see if you can get you, a quick short? Obviously the background is red, the midband is red. Could we break up? Absolutely, we could break up. But you'd have to pretty much take out that resistance right there, and they haven't done it so far. See it? Little thrust, retrace thrust. They'd pretty much have to take that out, and I wouldn't just jump in at willy-nilly if they just barely took it out. I would probably, if I was going to box this in long also, so that they don't fake you in, I would probably do it more like this. See where this resistance is right here? If they break that also, then I might go ahead and take a shot at a long. But, as a rule, you want to be careful and stay with the particular trend. Okay? Yeah, box short's the smartest way. And if you do decide to go long at all, obviously you want to get out of it very quickly if it goes against you. Okay? Now, everybody knows that the way you do a box in object traders, you just simply hit the insert key. Okay, you have to make sure that you're in the chart that you're in. I run into that quite a bit, because if you had your cursor on a website or something, NinjaTrader does not know that you're inside the chart, right? So be sure and click inside the chart, and it will know that you're in there. And then just simply put it on a short outside the bottom of it. And if you did want to try a long, like I said, I'd recommend more. If it took out more than just this resistance right here, maybe even this resistance right here. Okay, and I probably wouldn't even do it at all, simply because we've got this red midband and we should roll over and at least check these lows. At least we should anyway. Okay, so let's just do it this way and see what we get. And if it does bust up, we'll look at a different alternative. All right, I'll speed this up a little bit and we'll go with a couple of contracts. 12 ticks for first target. I'd probably put a stop really tight if it does trigger. Put your stop wherever it makes your swing. That'd be where you'd want to put your stop. Okay. You might even tighten this up a little bit. See it right there with where if that candle goes down also, you might want to get in it. Put your stop just really tight, just in case. It looks like it's going to get us in. It's trying. See, there you go. All right, and then real quickly, you could go ahead and put your stop just right above that swing just in case they decide to take us out. Now that's still risking 8 ticks when you do a breakout type trade. Okay, and 8 ticks on 2 contracts on ES is, you know, just right at $200. Okay. Now, what you also want to do when you get into a trade, you got to realize that you've got certain areas that they're going to more than likely tag. Let's go ahead and turn on lightning here, and we'll see where it's at. All right, so you've got lightning over here to the left, and you've got lightning here. It looks like about the same spot or pretty close, like right across here. Okay, so more than likely this would be the area that I'd want to probably, you know, take a scalp, especially if I had like more than, you know, 2 contracts. Let's say that if I did like 3 to give an example, I'd probably want to take a scalp like right across here when it tags that trend, that swing there. Okay, now if you're going to do it more by, you know, like line 2 and things like that, you could obviously bring it down even further. Okay, but that would be our first target right there. Just, I like to look at swings and give it a tick or so above it just in case. Now you could always stay with the trade with your stop period, but keep in mind that you may get stopped out too. Okay, and you know, it's sometimes better to take some profit fairly quickly. Let's see if this trade works out. Everybody see how I boxed that? Just use an object trader. By the way, I was on the Skype call with the programmer, and he said that Ninja 8 with the alerts will be done, you know, this week, and then object trader is very shortly behind that. He's getting really close to getting it all. Okay, let's see if we can get something. I would probably more than likely protect my coin if this takes out the swing, that is. Right now, you got to leave your stop where it's at. Otherwise, they're just liable to tag you. See how that just came up and tried to check? It could still get us. There you go. You got you a target. I'm going to go ahead and lower the stop to more than break even now so that we can see if we can get the rest of this trade. Okay, let's see. We got 2 left on. And if you've got 2 on your target, unfortunately, you would have to actually move your target out of the way and then just simply watch and see if you get any kind of bounce off of support. You know, draw your lines, for instance, at support. If it happens to tag support and bounces off of it, you can always take your coin quickly. Okay, because, you know, if you're thinking about this in real time, for instance, you know, if this tags that, could you be ready to cover if it goes back up through that line? Okay, if it does, see, it's trying. A lot of times I do this when I'm trading like that. See how you just went back through resistance? You can get out of that trade fairly quickly. Okay, now you could use line 2, but just remember with 2 contracts you give up quite a bit too. Okay, but that's a really good way to trade that right there. You know, look for your support level, and obviously if it goes back up like through resistance, it's got resistance right here also. See it right there where that little swing is? You could always put your stop there also. Okay, and it looks like that's going through it even. Yeah, I'd definitely be out of that trade. Okay, see, it kind of double bottomed, didn't it? Okay, let's fast forward this a little bit and see if we can get any other trades real quick. Let's see if we get something at mid-band where we can get a rollover. All right, I've got resistance right there that it has not touched yet. So I probably would not take this unless it at least touched that line like that. Okay, and then I'd put my stop just above mid-band like so, just in case they decide that, well, that they're going to go a little higher or something like that maybe. Okay, look to the left to trade the right. You got a support level right there. I'd probably take some profit right there at that swing, and I'd leave my other one more than likely at that one right there. since this one just barely took that one out. And that's the way you trade that one. How many of you like drawing trend lines on your charts? Utilizing the trend lines. I want to show you another feature that you can use too. Let's just see. This looks like this may be a double bottom. Let's go ahead and close this out. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you another indicator that we've got in Object Trader called Stealth. And if we get a green stealth, now we don't have a green stealth yet, but notice how they're taking out resistance. Beskar, send that to me if you wouldn't mind. Yeah. All right. Now, keep in mind, could this be a good little short? Let's say, for instance, you just wanted to go for like 8 ticks or something like that. Could you wait for that bar to close and try for 8 ticks? That looks like it's right at mid-band. I'd probably try it. And if you're gutsy, you could try it now and put your stop just above mid-band, and you wouldn't hardly feel any heat whatsoever. Like, put it on top of the bar if you have to, because if the bar's heading down, maybe the bar won't head up. Okay, let's see if that gets us 8 ticks or stops us out. Got us 8 ticks. All right. How many of you, when they start doing this sideways stuff right here, that you go ahead and watch for very possible trend changes? How many of you do that? Because let me show you what you really want to look for, just in case. Because this is what I like to personally see. Now, we don't have anything like that yet, but keep in mind that this is a lightning 3 swing right across here. All right. And if it breaks that, you're liable to head up. Okay. Because that's what we designed this little indicator for, called potential long. And let's see. We may roll over, but let's see. This is looking like it could change. We'll see. See that high or low? See there? Now, would this little indicator right here have caught that trade? I'm going to back it up and see. Let's back it up to like 625 or so, and it'll kill our P&L, but we don't care. Let's see, 625. Let's go to 601, see if that'll get it. All right. And let it go ahead and lock. All right. Let's just check stealth and see, if possible, if we can get a stealth entry. I want to see where that fires. Because one thing I look at when I'm trading the short side and even the long side, as far as that goes, is watch for these different colored stealths. You know, like right here you had a green one. You know, a lot of times when you get the second one, they could even change, which they did. You saw that. And let's see here. Let's go back over here. Yeah, see, you had a red one here, and you had another red one here, and even here. So this was pretty much telling you they were trying to break down. And this one hit here, and then here, but it didn't really break after that. And then here's, well, that's not enough data on it, but there's a green stealth right there, and another one right there. Let's see how that fires. I've got it on sniper, don't I? Let's see if we can nail down exactly where that stealth fires. I'm just putting this line here because we're gonna nail it to whichever bar does it by putting the line on it. It's more of a breakout trade. There's no question about that. There's your green stealth. Now, notice where that actually fired. Let me get this out of the way so that we don't hit it, because I want to see exactly the bar it fired on. It fired on that bar right there. Everybody can see that, right? So the green stealth showed up right there, and it fired on that bar close. So that's not a bad little indicator to, put in your repertoire, so to speak, and, utilize it. And you can put tight stops on it also, obviously. Like I'd probably put a stop right in through here right now, and it took it. And then look at that. Perfect, right down to support. Now, I had that going too fast for us to get it, but I think you can clearly see that that would be a good trade. Matter of fact, this is the trade that we had drawn in the room this morning, one of them. So what do you think about using stealth occasionally, especially when they've, gone down quite a bit, and, you get this first one where they still roll over, check these lows. You get that second one, which doesn't turn out to be too shabby of a trade a lot of times. That's why we developed this to where this, you can actually tell it you want to take the second stealth. I'll show you how that works. I'm going to back up to like 4:16 in the morning. Let me do that. And we're going to watch this stealth and then the next stealth. Now, the way you can do this is you can actually tell it. Let's see, I'm still paused. I think I lost my indicator. Just one sec. Let's go ahead and put our alert back on. And we'll have to put Object Trader back on. Can you add a contract at stealth? Yes, you can. You can even put it on auto stealth if you wanted to, and add contracts to the full degree of however many your max contracts is set at. Okay, everybody knows, right, that if you set your max contracts on Object Trader at 3, it doesn't matter if you put in 4 in the quantity, it'll only fire 3. And even if you put 1 in the quantity, it would only fire a total of 3. If it hit a target, it would fire another one. Okay, so you can change this to anything you want. Like if you wanted 5 in there, hit it and set your default, you can do that. Okay, you can also set that as templates too. Let's go ahead and check that. I want to show you how this works. If you do stealth and do 2, that should actually mean, let's just see if it does. I want to see if we get a green stealth. Got a green stealth. Would that mean it would be the next one or this one? Let's see. Didn't get that stealth, so it must be the next one. So that means 2 from this one. See if it gets the next one. Either that or that feature doesn't work. Okay, there's broke the stealth. And I got another one, so evidently either that or I've got it going too fast on replay. Let's try it one more time, and I'm going to do it more. I'm going to try to fire it on this one even, and you set this on 0 right here. Let's see if we can get that. Keep in mind that on replay, there's differences in where things show up, so that can also be the situation there. Just one sec. Let's go back to about 4 o'clock. Okay, I'm going to put it on stealth. And long, and we're going to leave it on 0. I want to just see if, and we've got to fix our indicator too. Anytime you back up on replay, you can cause all kinds of problems. Okay, let's try that. I'm going to go to stealth again. Now this isn't going to be a good trade, but I want to just make sure it fires like it's supposed to. So I'm going to go with a green stealth. And we don't care if it's against us. I just want to see if it fires. Yeah, okay. So it fired on green stealth. And we knew that was going to be bad. All right, let's see if it'll fire on another. I'm going to just get this out of the way so I can see if it'll fire again. on my green stealth. Maybe I just slow it down where it's not so fast like replay. That's still going 50 times. But yeah, this is actually the way you can add that contract on. I don't want you out. Let's just not let it go out. Just because we know what it's doing, I want to just check stealth. We already know where it's been, so. This should add 2 contracts with stealth as soon as that changes. Getting close to a green stealth. And that should fire. Yep, it did. Okay. All right, so that definitely works to scale in. See how that scaled in? Okay, so that's the way to use stealth on that. So 0 tells it to actually just do the particular stealth that you're on. If I put this for 1 again, let me try something here just real quick. I'm going to go ahead and put it on 1 instead and see, and we'll get rid of 2 so that it will fire. Let's just check that out too, because I wanted to make this a little bit about stealth, because I use stealth sometimes, but I do it more with, you know, my mind rather than actually using the tool. I just see it. If that comes back into stealth, it should go ahead, and we'll turn that back on. Yeah, anytime it breaks stealth, that means that's stealth number 1. I didn't want you to kill it. Should have moved my stop, shouldn't I? It's all right. Let's see if we can get it. See, as long as there's no stealth, you won't get anything. And usually when there's no stealth, it's pretty sideways. Okay, so that definitely worked. All right. Anybody watch this stealth when you're getting these moves? You know, because the one thing about markets, you'll notice if you don't get into them at the proper spot. Have you ever noticed that you just get into at the wrong spot and then they retrace on you? You got to make sure that you don't do that, because, you know, the way markets do, just to give an example, this changed trends. It gave you 1 mid-band trade, but it didn't give you much of a mid-band trade. You know, it bottomed out and then it took you out. Let me show you another way to get out of this trade too. If you shorted this up in here, let's go ahead and turn on short ones right here. All right, see where this black bar is right here? All right, what you can do a lot of times on that is if it comes back above that black bar, you can take it off the table. See how this was down here? Let's say that you had shorted this up here. See the black bars, the black bar, the black bar, the black bar, and you could pretty much just put, you know, a buy-in above that black bar, and you don't get that retracement. Because what this is looking at is just like little micro swings. I keep mine set up on 2 and 1. You know, that way it's just a really, really quick looking at that little micro swing. Okay. And I found this to be very helpful, because in real time, if you're watching this, you know, let's say that you had somehow said, okay, you know, when this came down and you started breaking down, Phantom failed and you rolled over, you know, whenever you took the trade, maybe you took it on a trend line break, you know, something like that, or boxed it in under mid-band. But notice how these little black bars just keep flashing. And what you can do is just simply, as they flash, and then they go down, and they flash, and then they break it. Well, here this one even flashed, and they break it. You can take it off the table, and you notice that you put, you know, keep quite a bit of your money from disappearing. It's the same way on here. Watch it. You got your black bar. You got another one flashing right there. And they broke it. See? So that can be quite nice. Let me show you what to do with the little white bar also, because the white bar is good also. This is your short bar, and then you've got a little white bar that shows up also. Let me see if it's going to show up here. Did I turn it on? Minor trade long one? Yeah, turned it on. All right. Now remember, the white one will only go with the, well, let's see. Let me think a second. We did the white one, minor trade long. Let's see how that goes. Okay, there's a white one. There's another white one. So what I do a lot of times, let's say you took that trade that we called on NQ or ES this morning, like right here, or even the one Charles and I both called when it came down right here and we boxed it in. Remember this morning in the room where we had it boxed like that? And if you put your stop just under those white bars, or at least taken off some contracts, and then let's see what it did after that. We got our stop in. There's another white bar. And if it closes below it, you could get out. There's another white bar, and it closed out. Remember where we took that trade off the table this morning? It was right there when it broke that 38.95, 38.75, if I remember right, is what I had on my chart. And I think Charles said 38.50. But see how those little white bars will help you out on that? I like those myself. And they'll also tell you when to get into a trade. And you can also use the little black ones. Let's check that out. See, we got both of them turned on. Check this out. Minor trade shorts on. Okay, let's see if we get a black one. Nothing happens in this little background here. There's your black one. There's another black one right there. So if you take something out and go back in, remember one of our people in the room this morning got it on this little stealth trade right here. But this will actually keep you, using trend lines and things like that, where you can get out of a trade fairly quickly. Let's see, you had a black bar right here, and you had another one right here, so that didn't take you out. And then you had another black bar down here, and another black bar here, and another one here. And so when it took that out, that took you out of the trade, didn't it? So that's definitely not a bad way to do that, because it's looking at these little micro swings. So if you had put your stop right above that black bar, like so, you would have gotten out before it did that full retrace like that. Just kind of a little thought. I mean, that's not a bad way to look at this, because the way this lightning indicator was designed was just simply so that you could see the little stair stepping, just like we've always taught. Now that's based on a 2-range chart, but with 4-range bars. So you could even change it to 4-range if you wanted to, but it'd be a little bit less printing of it. And I like it pretty much on the 2-range myself, because when you see it drawing like that, you can even draw your trend lines and even get out. Okay. Now, this is after we close the room. What does anybody think right here? What would you do in a case like this if you saw ES right where it's at right now? What would you do? I mean, is it heading up yet? Is it heading down? Is it a phantom? This was close to a phantom here. Is this going to be a phantom instead? What do you think? You got a double green stealth, but I see lightning 3 over here. So I don't personally see that this would change trends until it takes that out. Now it is here too. See, you have a low, high, higher low. You got a little higher high right here, but I would want to take this out more than likely and come back and kiss it, or at least take this out and come back and kiss it before I jump in this trade. Okay, but you could look at stair stepping just in case. And let's see what it does here real quick. Okay, you got a little lightning forming. It did come up there and kiss that, didn't it? Could you draw a trend line along these lows now to trade? Anybody see it? It's right through there. So let's see if we draw a trend line, if we can get a trade. See if we get a trade. That's a phantom, by the way. It may break up though. But that's the beauty of using trend lines and boxes. Now, could you also box this in your mind, like right now? Everybody see that? Where if you drew a box right here, it's actually breaking it as we speak. See it right there? If that closes down, could you get in that trade? Now you've got an up candle, down candle. If it breaks this little swing right here, that would be a trade. And obviously you could have shorted resistance. But right now we're talking about trend lines. Let's see if we can get something. Okay, you got a bar down, a bar up. There you go. You got in it anyway. Okay, move a target. Let's see where we're got swings. Got a swing way over here. I'd probably put a target just pretty much right in that area then. And then ride a runner. And you want to put your stop fairly tight too. I would not want them to go above that swing right there with a closed bar. Like that. Okay? Because the one thing you want to do is you want to trade with the particular overall trend as much as possible. Okay? And keep in mind, like I was saying in last week's webinar, when you get this color background, you're looking at these phantom type trades. Is that a breakup as of yet? Not really in my opinion, because on the left you had a lightning 3. If you draw it, you'll see it. Let me draw it from up here. See there, on the left side you had a high, a low, lower high, barely lower low. But that's still an identified swing, right? So on the left side of the chart, it would take that being taken out to head up. Now on the right side of the chart, you have a low, high, higher low, higher high. So if you were to, think about taking this trade long instead, then you would have really probably boxed it in right here under midband and taken a quick pop, because we're already short on it, on the phantom. Okay. Now, what if you missed that trade right there? You want to be able to look for, a trade that gets near stealth, to give an example, or what we call the minimum criteria, right? Okay, like if you're not already in this. Now, where would you put your stop? Anybody? Because I get asked this a lot about stops. Matter of fact, a lot of times when I'm trading, I don't want them to take that profit right away, because I see this doing a high, low, lower high. They're going to take out this low, more than likely. So I usually go ahead and look for a swing, and I try to get there and then start tightening my stop just in case they don't. Okay? Because sometimes, when you've got 2 still left on, is a lot better than taking some profit and then leaving a bunch on the table too. Okay? But you can always take a scalp too. If you see it scalping and you just want to take one off, just click the buy button as soon as you see it do its thing. Or turn on your little indicator and let those little bars show up. Okay? Slowing down a little bit, isn't it? Now, if you walked in your trading room, though, and you saw this happening in real time, does anybody see very possibly another trade. If you weren't in this, can you chase it? And the answer is no, but you can if you get a retrace. Okay, if you get a retrace that like goes up through stealth or touches stealth, you know, a lot of times you can take those. Okay, let's see if we can get something that at least takes out stealth. Let's just pretend you're not even in it at all right now, because we're going to just do a more of a minimum criteria trade. Now keep in mind that minimum criteria will not draw with this background. I may change that, but in a way I don't really want to, because you can get some really sideways stuff, and you can clearly see that if this goes back down below line 2, that is a minimum criteria trade. Everybody see that? See how that's doing? Like right there, see how that's minimum criteria? It broke. Okay, so that's a minimum criteria trade right there. Okay, but it will not print with our new alert indicator because this was sideways at the time. But that's still a minimum criteria trade that we teach. Now, when you got this red background, your minimum criteria will print if it takes out stealth in line 2. Now watch your little black bars, and you could simply put your stop. You could even lag it back one if you wanted to, you know, while you're still forming one, obviously. Then if they take it down, bring it down to your black bar. A lot of times you'll get taken out with that type of a tight stop, but a lot of times it won't too. So we'll see. Should get a black bar again pretty soon. Probably this bar right here if it closes. Yep. Well, that already took us out, unfortunately, didn't it? Black bar. Black bar. Like I say, if you lag it back one, you'll be safer most times, because these are really minor little thrust down on the 2 range chart. Keep in mind, you may not even see a swing on a 4 because it's looking at a 2 range swing the way I have that indicator done. Okay, so you might think, well, why is it drawing a black one here? See there, 2 black ones right there? Because a 2 range chart probably did do a swing. It had to have, or it wouldn't have drawn it. Because it's looking at breaking swings. And it can even look to the left too. It can break these swings over here also and still print one. Everybody see that, how you could actually utilize that as a good stop? But keep in mind, if you miss a trade, you've really got to let it do at least a retrace. See, that did a little retrace right then to stealth. Did you notice that, where it just barely took out stealth? Now let's look at, let's see if we can get a minimum criteria short and see where they are. There was one right here. See, so you could have shorted that. How many of you are using these alerts quite a bit now, just since they came out? Do you like them? Pretty much across the board? Cool. I don't see anybody that doesn't. Okay. Now that's a decent trade right there. See it? Just came to mid-band. Could you add when you get something like that? Like right in here where it just kissed resistance, put your stop nice and tight. Move your target out of the way? Absolutely. And you can always move your target out of the way if you see this thing dropping like this, and use your little black bars again. See, like that? Is it done? Took you out. Now, is that too tight? Probably. Okay. If you walked into your trading room right now, what would you do? Anybody? You're just looking at trading. What would you do if you saw this happening right this very moment, just like this? Box it in. There you go. All right, so we draw on our chart. We got resistance right here. We don't want it to take it out to continue down, so we're looking at a mid-band trade, right? So let's do a box in, and let's do a little region, and let's do a touch +2, and then let's watch it and see if we need to move our region at all. So we have a bar up, we need a bar down, and then we'll readjust our region. You could actually adjust it right now because that's a bar up. If this became a bar down, then if it broke this swing, it would be another bar down. So that would actually be like that. Everybody see what I'm talking about here? This is a bar up. So if this does a bar down, then that would be a 1, 2, 3 reversal. Now, if this bar goes up, then it wouldn't be. Everybody see what I'm talking about? So you have a bar up here, bar down here. Not yet, though. But this would be your 1, 2, 3 reversal if it took out that wick right there. If this bar shuts down. Now, if it goes up, then we're going to have to move it up underneath the up bar if this closes up. Let's see what it does. Yeah, a trend line would be good too. Now, what I like to do a lot of times is draw a trend line on my chart or in my mind. And if I was to go like one contract if it broke the box and another contract if it broke the trend line, you can do that also. But let's just try this 1, 2, 3 reversal, see if we can get something. Okay, so we have a bar up, we don't have a bar down yet. That may be a bar down. See, that's almost 4 ticks. That is 4 ticks. If it closes, it'll be down. Not yet. See why you got to be prepared, though? You know, you don't want to get your box so wide that, you know, for instance, if I was to draw this box like right under here or here, that's almost too much, isn't it? Because all we're looking for really is reversing. You know, see how this is up, down, that's down. See that? That's down. Now, usually when I see that, I usually just fire it. But let's see if we get it for real. Okay, you got a bar up, bar down. Oh, a bar up again. So let's draw it again. Now you have a bar up. We're looking for a bar down. If we go up again, we'll draw it again. Hopefully I don't speed this up too much. I want to try to show. Okay, there you go. You got a bar up, bar down, breaks. There you go. Everybody see how to do that? Notice the way that was done because, see, this is done where you don't know what's going to happen, but you can clearly see bars. You know, you got a bar up, a bar up, a bar down. So you would have fired the trade just under here, never fired. Then you had a bar up, so you just keep raising it. A bar down, you've got your little box in. You finally get your bar down, it breaks the third candle back, you're in. Okay? And you put a nice tight stop just in case you're wrong. Let's see if it works. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. It definitely worked. Now it's not on the runner though. I'd probably be closing that little puppy out. I had that going like 400 times, so we couldn't get out of it down there, but I think I definitely would have. But since we didn't, we'll just see what it's going to do, because it's more than likely going to stop us. If it went above cost, I'd definitely get out of that last contract. Just watch it and see. If it closes down, we'll be fine. But everybody see, you would probably want to get out of that trade down here, right? Because you had a low, you had a candle up, candle down, candle up, and then see, you were starting to stair step. Okay? And once you start to stair step like that, and you start seeing it, on your lightning one, when it broke this swing right here, is pretty much when it changed that to green. And so you can keep a lot of money from going off the table by just getting out of those trades like that. Everybody see that? Okay. Now I'm going to fast forward this, and I want everybody to pick the next trade. Let's see. How do we know when object traders and sim are real, please, Gary? Well, for one thing you want to do, obviously, is make absolutely sure. Let me just show you. That's a very good question. All right. We're in replay mode right now. Okay. We're in replay. Now, what you want to do is you want to check and make sure that Global Sim is turned on. Now, with Object Trader, if you're playing in replay or in Sim, it will be gray. Okay. If it's in green, it could still be in Sim, but it has an account number assigned to it. Okay. So anytime you see this gray background on Object Trader, you know it's in Sim. Okay. But to be absolutely sure, all you got to do is just click Global Sim right there and make sure that it stays in Global Sim, and you can't trade live in Global Sim. Now, you can also, on your little Tools Manager here, see where it says under Simulator right here, always start in simulation mode. Leave that turned on if you don't want to accidentally trade in your real account when you first start out. But just know this, that when Object Trader is in gray, you can't trade live. Okay, to trade live, you have to actually turn this off. You can't be in replay mode because replay is not live money. Okay, so if you go to your strategy and go to replay mode, you're going to notice that, you're going to be gray. So that's trading only in Sim. Okay, to trade in live, what you have to do is you have to turn off Global Sim, and then before you put Object Trader on, you click this. And let me show you a video, because I'm not making it probably as clear as my little video does. That was a very good question. Let me show you real quick. We'll go to Viper Trading Systems, to your member login, and I'll show you. All right, we're in our member login. And if you'll scroll down to the ebook right here, and then click on it, under your parameters and settings, the initial setup of Object Trader on your chart, getting to know the parameters and settings, saving your default settings. What do you look for if a strategy is grayed out? Well, if a strategy is ever grayed out, then you've got Chart Trader on your chart, or you don't have any data on your chart, or you have a live account with Ninja that's one of those free accounts. All right, but see right down here, activating your live account instead of Sim. That's got about a 7 or 8 minute video that'll walk you right through how to activate your live account rather than Sim. Very good question. Okay, this ebook, by the way, just kind of scroll down through it. It's probably, not written in the most, educated, perfect way. I just wanted to throw some videos up here for people that could actually just simply click on these little V's and watch videos. Because videos can be changed real quickly, where like a PDF or something, you have to really go in and do a lot of editing and all that. I can pull one of these videos and change it in a heartbeat. Okay. But anything you want to know about Object Trader is in here. How to use your LESCRE, how to turn auto trades on. Be careful, because when that's fully checked in auto, it'll fire all the way up to your maximum contracts. And if you had your maximum contracts somehow set at 10, it'll fire 10 contracts, or it could. Using the mid-band trend auto, that's so that you only fire long trends. short with short trends, and you can also reverse. And then here's your object types. The most common that we use is activator region right there, and using the T and B buttons and how they work. Okay. All right, so I'm going to pause this for just a second, and then I'm going to fast forward this thing, and I want y'all to show me the next trade. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and do it after the market changed. So let me see. I may not have enough data. Come to think of it, I don't think I downloaded after. We'll just do the next one here then. Let's just see if you can figure it out. All right, let's watch. Let's see, we have a high, we have a low, we have a lower high. Okay, so we boxed in. We don't want to take this out to continue going down. That's pretty much a given, right? So we're diagnosing our chart in real time. We don't really want to take this out, but over on the left, this is our swing, so they'd have to take that out to change trends. Okay, or they'd have to take this out and take this out over here too, and then come back and kiss, and then take off. Everybody see what I'm doing? I'm diagnosing my chart to see what I want to do with this next trade. Okay, y'all ready for it? Let's see if we can get it. This is real close to, well, this is actually aftermarket even, isn't it? Let's just see if it does it though. I'll see if I can grab it. Nope, I'm out of stuff. I'm at the end. Or maybe not. No, I'm not at the end. I do have after 5 o'clock. But that's all I had, was just like 3 minutes after 5, 9 minutes after 5. Oh well. Anyway, was that a predictor type trade? Probably wouldn't want to trade that at the 5 o'clock time to begin with. You just wouldn't want to. Okay. Now let's real quick, I'm going to go over what we did in oil today. I want to show everybody, because I had several people wanted to kind of go over why and how we got in that trade that I called this morning. So I'm going to go to about 750, and then I'm going to go ahead and change this to oil. Bear with me a sec. Oh, and I want to show you something too. Do not ever leave it on Object Trader like so, and then change your instrument. That is a no-no, because Object Trader doesn't necessarily know that you're changing that to a CL chart. Okay, so what I always do when I'm doing that is I take my strategy off. All right, reload a template even, especially if you got the alerts. All right, reload your template, and now you can put Object Trader back on. Okay, so let's see if we can get a little trade. We're going to go strategy, Object Trader. Okay, and we opened the room at 7:55, so I'm going to fast forward this to 7:55. Hopefully I can stop it before it gets there. There's 7:53, 7:55. All right, so does everybody see, when you walked in the room this morning at 7:55, could you have already been in a trade? Anybody? Before I ever opened the room up? Because you could have, right? Where was the trade this morning? Well, actually, if you were up at about 7 o'clock, there was your trade. Okay, here was one right here, and here was one perfect one right here. This trade, whenever you can get it, will usually turn out to be a pretty good trade. So if you were in this trade from down here, that was actually your entry. But now remember, since we didn't open the room until 7:55, what did we do? Anybody? We waited for the little box to draw, or you watch your predictors. So I like to draw my lines on my predictors. I got one right there, and I got one right there. Okay, so anywhere in this little sweet spot, if it bounces, I'd be looking for a long. Okay, because predictors already said, okay, I'm here, and now I'm saying I'm going here. So I look at the left predictor and the right predictor to see if I can get a trade. Okay, now in the room this morning, we had some people say, well, why would you take it when it's as sideways as it was? That's the reason right there. Okay, Everybody see what that's doing right there? That's just simply checking support. Could you buy that? When it checks support, put a very tight stop on it. Could you then box it in just in case it went back above midband? Could you do that? And so you got a really, really nice trade. Now, if anybody remembers this trade this morning, this was a little monster. Does anybody remember this trade this morning? This trade, watching your predictors, watching support, and I called it right here on this bar that went up. So you would have actually been filled pretty much on that bar. Okay? And then you just literally rode the trade for the gusto, and it was quite a trade. Okay, now let me show you how you would do your stop. Let's go ahead and get this. We know it went. We did it this morning. All right, see how this is trying to do a little retracing? You know, so you have a little thrust, retrace, right? So could you actually look to the left to trade the right, put your stop just a little underneath that line 6, because if it hits its head, it should bounce off that blue line, right? It should literally bounce off that blue line. All right, so could you put your stop there? Well, what about this instead? What if you said, you know what, I don't want to lose them all unless it even comes down like right in here, say, okay, but maybe I want to take off one if it takes out sniper. And then you turn on sniper like so, and if it happens to close below that, or you could even set it for touch like +2, and that way you could ride your 3 like I did this morning, because it never took that line. But that is a good way to protect your coin, because see, it's not up here just yet. See it right there to the left? So you kind of know that it's going to hit it, right? I mean, you know, when they're trying to do these resistance kisses, they usually pretty much nail them. And that's when you want to take some profit off the table, or at least follow like sniper, to give an example, and just let the trade do its thing. Okay, does anybody remember that trade? Was that a monster or what? Remember I showed the P&L this morning on my kiddo's account, and it was a $1,000 bill. Did I let it go back here? Did I let it go back here? No. No, remember when it did that bust up like that, just took it off the table. Now, does that mean that you couldn't go ahead and, you know, continue with this? I wouldn't do it with 3 though. Now, you would have already taken off. When I see markets where they do a bar up, a bar up, a bar up, a bar up, bar up, bar up, bar up, bar up, bar up, like that, that first bar that goes down, I literally in my mind say, okay, that bar went down, I don't want that one to go down. Because let's face it, with 3 contracts, that's 4 times 3 times 10, right? That's 4 times 10 times 3. So that's almost $300 of your money just on that little retrace. Okay? That's one thing, you know, when you're doing one contract, it doesn't feel so bad to have these pullbacks. That's why I always mention to Charles when he's in 4 and he lets them come back, you know, fairly deep. I think, wow, you know, I'm not going to give up $600. But a lot of times, you know, if you don't, you know, if you go ahead and just stay with the trade, it'll continue your direction. But I find that tight stops are pretty good, you know, especially like stealth, to give an example, or line 6. Okay. Now, a lot of times that's going to be a little bit tighter than you might want it. And if you even see it trying not to go up, you can always just sell all but your last one. Okay. And then if that bar goes down instead of up, you could just get out of the trade entirely. You know, and the way to do that would just be to turn on bar close, sell it, and even if you sell 2, see how that flattened out? Remember my figure in the room this morning? It was $1,010. That's exactly the way that was traded. Remember the 1,010 I showed? That was that very first trade right out of the box. And there was no reason to get out of that trade literally from the time it busted up, barely pulled back, and then took off. Because by here you didn't even hardly have a scalp. So you pretty much had to ride it. Now, if it would have come back in here, I would have been at break even. So I wouldn't have, gotten a bunch of money on that trade. I would have gotten zero. But that's a really good way to trade it. And then watch what actually happened. It went on up to the top. We called a mid-bar probe, if I remember right. Remember where it hit that and got a quick little 10 ticker? Remember that one? So you always got to be willing to take it. And you'd protect your coin. I'd put my stop right underneath there. And if it takes it, it takes it. Now you can put it right there if it even touches it and you're out. Okay? Now what would it take to break oil down? Anybody? If you look at Lightning 3, and this is one of my favorite trades to watch for, is a trend change type of potential trend change. Watch what that bar will do if it breaks that Lightning 3. We know it did because we traded this morning, remember? See that little bar flashing right there? That's telling you that it broke Lightning 3. Okay? Because, and could you be ready to take this trade to the short side if it broke this little box? Because this is actually, if you think about it, you're getting a high, a low, a lower high, higher low, so then you have to count again, high, low, lower high, lower low. This is a lower high than here, so if it breaks this little box, you could actually box this in, like so, and you could actually be looking for a short when it breaks potential trend change. Okay? Now, you could also be looking for a long just in case it decided, okay, you got resistance right over here. I usually don't like them to fake me, so I usually, if I got a box, I'll let it have a bar out of it, and even a bar, well, we already got that one, and a bar out of that one also. Because that way you don't just get into one that fakes you. Okay? And those can turn out to be pretty good trades, by the way, when they trend change on you like that. Now, your safest route on this particular trade, keep in mind that, they can get a phantom, to give an example. See how that bounced off of a phantom right there? Okay? But notice how it kissed that Lightning 3 right here. And that's a pretty good area to short. If they break your support area and then they kiss it as resistance, those are usually pretty good areas to short. And see, you've got a red background and a mid-band, so you can't take a phantom now. Everybody see that? Okay, you took the phantom, but didn't hold the pullback. On this phantom right here, Jonathan, wow, did you know it's already 8 o'clock? I didn't even realize I'd been here an hour. Everybody going to trade like this, in the room and everything? Oh, this morning when we took it. This was the phantom that I took this morning, was right here. And then I also had this one right in here. But keep in mind on that very first one, that when I got in my phantom, it wasn't with my kiddo's account. The kiddo's account was when we opened the room, because I showed it was 1010. Okay. My top step, I can't show in the room because I've only got the exchange through oil. So obviously the other charts won't light up. Yeah. So when you see my charts in the room, it's either going to be my live account, my one-up account, or my other Top Step Trader account. Because the Top Step account that we trade oil with, we only have with that data. Okay? And I've basically, if you want to do more exchanges, that's the only thing that is weird to me about Top Step, is that they charge for every exchange, and OneUp does not charge for that. But it kind of makes me wonder when I talked to the guy at Top Step, he said that they actually get charged that by CME. So is One-Up Trader eating those exchange fees for every trader? It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Because those fees are there. There's no question about that. I don't know if they're as high as $105, but I was looking at CME this morning, not CME, but Ninja Traders exchange fees, and they do have like ICE and some of those that are $133 a month. So, it's smart to save money as much as you can. When you're trading, I don't personally like to pay $133 a month for exchange fees. We used to do it when we had Russell, remember, because of the TF, and we loved Russell at that time. Can't stand it nowadays. I don't like it. But it is still tradable. But you have to wait on Russell till you get those really nice thrust and retrace, mid-band type trades. Russell seems to do real well. And phantom trades, not so well, but if you box them and they go your way, and then all of a sudden they break down, they usually break hard. Okay? I hope this helped everybody. Just be sure and use your region trades, your trend line trades, use your little indicators. And pretty soon we'll have the indicator that you'll be able to tell it how long you want these to stay turned on. But I'm waiting for one more fix, not a fix really, but a modification that we can all have. Because I want to get it to where these are automatically on. But unfortunately, even if you turn these on, because I did it today, I just turned them on in the script, but that doesn't do anything. This is a button. And what this does is when you punch the button, it starts. So when they're just defaulted to off or on, it doesn't flash bars at all. So he's going to have to do quite a bit of rewriting the code to where it's not actually just a little button that you're turning off or on. Okay? And as soon as we get that done, we're going to have it to where you'll be able to default any of these on or off that you want. Okay. Thanks everybody for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. I didn't realize I stayed this long. And I appreciate everybody. We will do it again tomorrow. Watch tomorrow. There is some major news at 7:30. I was checking my Top Step account, and there's a 7:29 to 7:31 window you don't want to trade. There's some kind of report coming out tomorrow morning, so be careful. And then oil inventory is not until Thursday. All right, thanks everybody for coming. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll get this up on the site. Good night, everyone. Time flies when you're having fun. Bye, everyone.